Dare I say it? I do, in fact, dare to say this. I just got done watching season 5 of Stranger Things with my wife. I mean, we're like 2 or 3 weeks behind. We have not seen this since it came out. We didn't even watch it before the finale dropped. We just cold turkey, wasn't watching anything, and we just finally finished it 2 nights ago. The main thing that was leading up to it, obviously, you've heard all of the discourse. There's so many things wrong with season 5. Frankly, there's probably a lot of things wrong with season 4, season 3. There's probably a lot of things wrong with all of them. Which leads us to the point of we were watching season 5. We were watching the finale episodes. We finished it, and we kind of looked at each other, and we were just like, that is not nearly as bad as everyone made it out to be. Was it perfect? No, I mean, I didn't walk away from the episode with my mind blown, nor did I walk away like super resolved, but I did walk away with like a little bit of a feel good moment, just kind of sitting in my chest there, sitting in the little crevice of my trunk, you might say. One example of this, because here's my first point to this. I have a few points, so hear me out. My first point is a lot of people were like, why is Holly such a big deal, right? Why is Holly and not Joyce? Or, I think that someone said like Holly has more screen time than Joyce Byers, which is kind of crazy. And to give them credit, like, yes, all she really does is come in and chop his head off at the end. Spoilers, I know. And that's kind of like all she's there for, because she doesn't help Will. She actually hinders Will both times. Like there's just nothing really helpful for her. So, like, yeah, like watching season 1 again, like you kind of glimpse through it and you realize, like, dang, Winona Ryder is such a freaking good actress. You feel like they're kind of wasting her potential with where she was kind of sidelined to with this season. So it's a bit disappointing. However, like, there's a reason they set up Holly and all these kids and they spent so much time with these kids, was for that sort of ending moment. Where, they take over and they kind of, the baton is passed of the childhood to the younger kids. And I mean, like, could they have done it better? Yeah, I think they could have. They could have spent a little bit less time on the kids. They could have spent a little less time on, I don't know, Holly. They could have at least explained why he needed kids a little bit better than they did. But the reason that I'm willing to come out and say it here on video is because I kept kind of trying to tell my wife, like, no, it's so bad because of this. Like, that was this thing that just happened, that's bad, right? Where's all the Demogorgons in the void? There should have been more Demogorgons or Demobats in there. She was like, what? Like, all these problems that I kept coming up with for why season 5 and the finale were not good. My wife was just like, does that, like, I don't think that matters though. Or like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah. The more, now that you mention it, wife, the more she kind of mentioned it, the more she would talk about it. I was like, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's actually that big of a deal. What did they do? They set out to create something that cohesively pulls together as much of the show as possible. Like, how do you end something like that? And, one sort of thing I've heard is a lot of people say, like, oh, they didn't write it before they didn't write the ending before they started. And it's like, yes, but they knew what the ending was going to be. They kind of said that in the documentary within the same line of saying, like, we haven't written it yet. They also said, we know what the ending is. We haven't written it. And I think I can get that. I understand that. If you're anything like me and you write stories or you tell stories or you make videos or something, sometimes you just have a little bit of like a mental block and like, where you're trying to go. So like that doesn't really matter. It's just like, you don't know what you don't know what the medium is going to do with it yet. And I think that's a pretty normal space to be. Now, they had millions of dollars, number one show on Netflix, tons of time. You would have think they maybe would have spent a little bit extra time and from that. But they're creatives, guys. They're creative people. They're not productive. What do you mean? Like, they don't do things effectively. What is it? What even is that? Who do you think they are? And why am I even talking about this? The reason I'm talking about this is because I think we get so much on the bandwagon of like, what does the general population believe about something that we don't actually form an opinion ourselves sometimes. I think this is a problem just with social media, but it's also a problem with the news, newspapers, CNN, Fox, like all the places we receive information from. I feel like a conspiracy theorist here, like an old man, but like this isn't just a social media problem, but I'm getting on here because I firmly believe like we should create our own opinions. Okay. You are not entitled to an opinion from someone else. A lot of the times I'm seeing in these comment sections the same exact sentences, almost word for word, from somewhere else. It's like we don't have thought. We just have scripts that were fed by other NPCs. That is like how it feels sometimes with these big, something happens and it's like, oh my gosh, I have this opinion. And then like after every single event that happens in media, in current events and whatever, there's always like some narrative that ends up popping up. And it's like the first person to write out the words, they create like the script for everyone else. And I think that's a dangerous place to be. I think if you're not aware of that, that's a dangerous place. And truth be told, like you shouldn't be looking for the script of what to say or what to believe or what your opinion is from anything that's been produced within the last 50 years. Let me say that again. It's okay to not use something recent. Wow. Let me say it again and not try and reword it. It's okay. What did I even say? I can't even remember. But you should form your opinions based off of things that were true 50 years ago and like texts and words and ideas and philosophies that were true 50 years ago, not like in this ever-changing landscape that is the gray matter of culture. I don't know. Like things are not black and white. They want it to seem black and white because that's what works with marketing. That's what I did with this title and video. I was just like, I took a stance. Hey, it's not that bad. And here we are. So I tricked you. This might not even get views. I don't know, but it's just something on my mind, something I was thinking about, and I should probably talk longer about this, but I'm not gonna. Subscribe if you want more stuff like this. I've been having fun with this channel, just posting stuff whenever I feel like it. Who knows? Maybe I'll do more stuff like this. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.